Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. In today's video, I'm gonna discuss and explain why Luis Enrique's Paris Saint-Germain is the modern version of Pep Guardiola's 2011 Barca team, which is arguably and probably the best team ever assembled, at least in the modern day. If you look at Pep Guardiola's 2011 Barca team, these were the most important stuff in that team, in my opinion. Possession, pressing, counter-press, attacking prowess, fluidity, and versatility. Talk about possession first. Ever since Luis Enrique has come into Paris Saint-Germain, we've been probably the best possession team in the world. As you can see, both in Europe top 5 leagues and in the Champions League, we've been in the top 2 and top 3 last season every single time. When we talk about pressing and counter-pressing, which is very important for a possession side. If you want to keep the ball, you have to make sure the opponent doesn't have it. And Paris Saint-Germain being one of the best pressing side the past 2 seasons in football. Obviously, before we remember this iconic picture of Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe not tracking back, well, this would never happen at Paris Saint-Germain under Luis Enrique. Attacking prowess, Paris Saint-Germain being one of the best and most high XG in Europe's top 5 leagues, both this season, last season, and in the UEFA Champions Leagues over the past 2 seasons. Fluidity and versatility, the Paris Saint-Germain's movement, both with and off the ball, is absolutely insane. And the best way to explain it, watch this video. I have to look at the movement here from this team here, and I mean, it's absolutely insane. So the first one you have here is basically you have a false 9, and that's why Luis Enrique is obsessed about the false 9. Another huge thing that will come into comparisons with Pep Guardiola. You got Fabian Ruiz pushing up into the half space, Dembele in the half space. Like, this is what he wants. He always wants 3 defenders, basically 3 players behind the line, a double pivot in Neves and Vitinha this season, a left wing holder, a right wing holder, 2 players in the offensive 8 spots, and 1 false 9. But obviously, Paris Saint-Germain can play so many different stuff. We still see it slightly this season. This was more of last season when the fullback was inverting. But so also basically the players that went inside can also be holding the width. And we can create a numerical advantage in the midfield with a 3-4-3. We can also do this. Wow. Basically, this is more of an attacking, threatening team. You got Barcola, Dembele, Kvara, Hakimi. Whoa. Like a 4-man attack. This one, I guess, is for dragging the play down the right side. You have also like a numerical advantage here in midfield with Nambuz dropping, and then Barcola can make those runs with having a lot of openness here. And that's the thing, like Paris Saint-Germain, it's so hard to defend against us here. For example, if we want to move out of the press, you got 4 here, numerical advantage in the midfield, and 2 of the best outlets in the world. I mean, it's so hard to play against PSG. Like, there really isn't that much you can do. You can just hope we don't take our chances. Once again here, look at the numerical advantage in midfield we have here. 5 players we can drop deep into the midfield. That's why Luis Enrique doesn't want to play with a striker, a number 9. He wants a false 9 because he wants his 9 to be involved in the game. We can also do this moving out of pressure. Once again, very wide, 2 great fullbacks, numerical advantage in the midfield, and 2 great outlets in Barcola and Enriques. Ay. Barcola going inside. Yeah. 3-2-2-2 cheat code. Yeah, basically we can play 2 games in 1 game. That's basically what this is. Is there anything more? I mean, we create countless of chances just like this. Just some 1-2s, and then Barcola goes. Wow. We finally come to the team comparison. We've gone through. So stylistically, Paris Saint-Germain, Luis Enrique plays very similarly to FC Barcelona's Pep Guardiola in 2011. It's all about possession. It's all about keeping the ball away from the opponent. One thing also a lot of people talked about, we come to the team sooner, is about the height of players. That's something a lot of people talked about. But yeah, basically this team is a modern version. It's not the same. It's a modern version. The simple basic stuff, the root of the play is the same. Heavy possession, heavy pressing, heavy chance creation. An insane off-the-ball movement because you're not playing with a number 9. You're not a static team. You're constantly moving. You're constantly fluiding. And that's the same with this FC Barcelona team right here. Basically, the FC Barcelona defense, when you look at it, that's more of actually over 3 at the back, especially with how much Dani Alves used to push up. So Abidal can pretty much go in and join the two midfielders, two center backs, and create a three at the back. Busquets can also be dropping a bit deeper, similarly how we've seen with Neves and Vitinha this season. So the three in the back is always, the main thing. Then he has three in the midfield, which more become a two-man pivot with Xavi and Busquets, because Iniesta plays higher up, but he can also drop down to create the overload in midfield. And then the centerpiece at the top, Lionel Messi and Ousmane Dembélé for Paris Saint-Germain, can drop deep and create the overload. I would say the main difference between the two teams is the wingers. Barcelona's wingers are more of like attackers, goal scorers, but I mean, that's what Barcola has been this season as well. He's been more of an off-the-ball runner. And then I would then say the only missing player is like a player like Kvara. I don't think that Barca team, it's more Messi surrounded by two goal scorers in Villa and Pedro. That was their main job. Also hard working players. And yeah, that's basically Paris Saint-Germain. Hakimi very similar to Alves. Nuno Mendes, I wouldn't say he's similar ability to Abidal, but he's similarly role-wise what he has to do at Paris Saint-Germain. And then when you look at that midfield, honestly, it's like the midfield but upside down. I think Vitinha similar, like stylistically, to Iniesta. Xavi, I wouldn't say Neves is similar to Xavi. Neves is more of a box-to-box, like more of an athletic version, but not as good on the ball and so on, but he's still good on the ball. And then Fabian Ruiz is like an offensive version of a Busquets, like very unathletic, tall, but genius. So I would say these teams are actually so comparable to each other. And Paris Saint-Germain team, a lot of these players obviously are much younger, which means, yeah, they will even reach higher heights. Like I think Barcola will end as a better player than Pedro. Kvara will end as a better player than Villa. Vitinha could be very interesting. João Neves the same. I don't think Fabian can peak much more. Looking for the defense. Honestly, I think Hakimi could end his career as the best right back of all time. Like he's so good already and he's only 25. He's so much here and he's very consistent. So I don't see him dropping off. Nuno Mendes, yeah, probably already better than Abidal. Dona can end it better as well. But it's a beautiful team. And as I said, the comparisons between the two teams is a lot. And people need to start realizing it. That's a lot of people when they say, oh my God, PSG play without a number 9. I was frustrated with it a bit more, with it as well. But I've understood, man. And Lucho is cooking because the main reason he's not playing a 9 is not because he thinks having a 9 is useless. He just thinks having a mobile 9 is way more helpful because his system, it's all about the off-the-ball movement and the dynamics. People said that when we lost to Liverpool the first game, oh, if PSG had the number 9, they would have won the game. Well, at least 50%, maybe 40% of the chances we created was us not having a number 9. It was because of the movement. Once it was Kvara on the right, then Kvara on the left, then Dembele in the center, then Kvara on the left, then Dembele here, then Barcola here. That's because we don't play with a striker. Look at the goal we scored versus Liverpool away. We scored that goal because we don't play with the number 9. Ousmane Dembele drops into the pocket, gives it to Barcola. Barcola gives it inside to Ousmane Dembele. Dembele can play and try his best to play as a number 9, as a target man, which he's done very great this season, goal scoring wise. But that's why we don't play with a 9, because we play better without a 9. Like, people just have to understand it, and that's why I'm comparing it to this Barcelona team. Obviously, this Barca team won 2 UCLs under Pep Guardiola, but that's what I'm expecting, at least from this Paris Saint-Germain team under Luis Enrique. And people have to start, like, people have been trying to downplay Paris Saint-Germain, especially under Luis Enrique, for such a long while, and you just have to accept it. Obviously, as a team, the most important thing is obviously for us to win the Champions League at the end of the season. That way, everyone will be forced to be proven. But if you just use your brain, you might intellectually just look at this Paris Saint-Germain team and highly rate it already. Like, look at the talent, and this team will even get better next season. But to end this video, Luis Enrique is creating a modern version of the 2011 Barca team. And he's cooking. Well then, that's been it for the video. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree. Is Paris Saint-Germain's Luis Enrique side a modern version of Pep Guardiola's 2011 Barca? That's been it from boy PSG, and as usual, allez, Paris.